All right, so would you believe me if I told you I already started my summer garden right here under the snow? Well, it's true. Let me do a little harvest and show you. There's nothing sprouting yet, but what I've got going on is called winter sowing. I've got seeds in soil in these little mini greenhouses. So in this video, I'm going to tell you all about winter sowing, why I think it's a better method, why I think you're going to convert over to winter sowing from indoor seed trays, and why it's even more affordable and eco-friendly. To do winter sowing, you need containers, anything that lets the sunlight and the moisture in. So a $0 way to do this is to use recycled containers like salad boxes, yogurt containers with a clear lid, or even milk jugs. You'll need to poke holes in the tops of the lids to let precipitation in, as well as have drainage holes in the bottom to let excess water out. If you're using jugs, you'll want to slice them in half to more easily add your dirt and seeds and then tape it back together. The top opening is adequate for allowing moisture in, so you'll only need to add drainage holes at the bottom. Your containers will need to hold about 3 to 4 inches of potting soil, so make sure they're big enough for that. Potting soil is the only thing that I purchased for my winter sowing setup. I've been saving containers for a while and already had plenty of seeds on hand. I plan to keep adding to my winter sowing setup as I collect in reused containers through the rest of the winter and through the chilly spring. After adding the soil, you'll want to pre-moisten it with water before adding your seeds. The concept of how winter sowing works is that it encourages tougher, more rugged seedlings as they naturally germinate in your outdoor environment. The multiple rounds of freeze-thaw cycling help to shed seed coats and harden off young seedlings so they are ready to be planted outside, even if it's before your hardiness zone frost dates. What I like about winter sowing is that you don't need indoor space or extra equipment like seed trays and grow lights, or worry about your seedlings getting too leggy way before it's safe to put them outside. With this method, Mother Nature dictates the appropriate time for the seedlings to germinate according to your unique environment. Plus, you get better yield than you would with direct in-ground sowing because your seeds are more protected in these mini greenhouses. And it's almost totally hands-off, except that you do need to monitor for moisture because it's a moist germination method. If it's frozen outside, it's fine, but on warmer days, you should be able to spot some condensation inside your containers. If not, then you'll need to water. You can sow your seeds in your container, and then after they grow to have 2 sets of leaves, then you can transplant them. Now, some seeds actually have a cold stratification requirement that they need a freeze cycle in order to germinate. A lot of perennial flowers are like this. So winter sowing meets this requirement. I've already winter sown about 8 containers of flower seeds, and now I'm sowing garden vegetables. I'm really wanting to have a head start for when that greenhouse is ready, so that's why I'm doing all of these preparations in the winter. Anyone who lives in a temperate climate can winter sow, so you still have time if the temperatures in your area are below 50 degrees at night. There's still time for you to get in a winter sowing setup, even with spring around the corner in a few weeks, according to the calendar. In my location, we'll have cold temperatures at night for the next 3 months, so I have plenty of time to get a lot of seedlings ready for the greenhouse. And don't forget to label your containers. A Sharpie might be all you need, but it can be easy to lose track even before you get your containers outside. So stay organized with that, or you'll have surprises. And then with the milk jug, you'll have to retape that closed. Definitely use duct tape, something that can create a really good seal. Again, you're trying to keep moisture in to encourage that greenhouse effect. So duct tape works pretty good for that. Okay. All right, more containers added to the collection. I'm going to keep building this. We've got several more weeks of winter and several more weeks of evenings below 50 degrees. So I'm going to be winter sowing all the way to May. Reusing containers. I'm using seeds that I saved from years prior. All I had to purchase for this really was soil in a bag. You might even have that on hand. This could be a very low cost, very under $10 type of setup for you. And almost hands off. Like you don't have to monitor this every day. Only when it starts to warm up, you just want to make sure there's still some moisture. Things are showing some condensation. So anyway, hopefully this is winter sowing for the win. Give it a try. Let me know if you've ever heard of it before, because it's definitely my first time of hearing this, but why have I never done this before? Sowing seeds in the snow. Who knew?